What's up, everybody? This is Dr. Nick with LVRG Media, and today I want to talk to you about your website, company, and whether they may or may not be cheating on you. So I would say that the vast majority of successful chiropractic offices are using one of probably 5 different like cookie cutter website in a box companies. Whenever I do strategy sessions, I'll do kind of an analysis of what the other offices in town are doing, and so I can usually tell pretty quickly what company has done what website. And a lot of times I will find, especially in, probably towns that are like over 100,000 and above, a lot of times I'll find multiples of one, if not more, of these website companies that cater to chiropractic offices. And the problem with that is that, you're basically in competition. You've hired this company to help you have a great online presence and to show up number one for the keywords that you want to show up for, to rank in the Google My Business listings. And, the guy down the street is using the same tactics. And the problem with a lot of these in the box companies is that, a lot of the content is the same. So if you're not customizing the content for your site, a lot of times maybe they change up, some words here and there, maybe to get past Google's, plagiarism filters or like duplicate content filters. But the content itself is basically the same. So if you are, paying a company to try to move you towards the top, and then they've got somebody else that's, basically your competition for new patients, and they're using the same strategy, who's to say which one, are they putting the thumb on the scale for maybe somebody who's paying them a little bit extra for Google ads, or they're having them, they do the bigger package with the SEO, or, whatever it might be. You sign up in good faith thinking that you are going to be the only one with, that design and that strategy. And then a lot of times that doesn't end up being the case. So when you are, like for LVRG Media, like we only take one client per town. If it's a city, that's big enough to where, if you're on the west side, you're never going to go over to the east side and vice versa, then maybe we'll take multiple clients in, bigger cities. But especially for like a town of 100,000, 150,000, you're pretty much just going to be, we're only going to be focusing in on one client to make sure that we can maximize their leads and their presence and build their brand. Now, when, whether we create a website or not, we wouldn't, even if, like, let's say we had a LVRG Media client that had a site through another company, and somebody came along and said, hey, I want to build a story brand site, and it was in the same city as our client. Number one, we wouldn't take them because, we'd basically be competing against ourselves. But number two is I wouldn't want to take on a website customer that wasn't also a LVRG Media customer, mainly because we do so much to drive traffic to the websites. But we would definitely never take another LVRG Media client in the same area. And your website company, especially as they start to branch out and they're trying to become more of, most of them are trying to become more of like a marketing agency than they are just a website company. I mean, their core business is getting you signed up for, $150, $200 a month website package where they own the website. And if you stop paying them, then you don't have a website anymore. So they lock you into that. And then they start trying to upsell you on that. Well, we can do Google ads for you, or we can do Facebook ads for you, or we can do some advanced SEO for you. And sooner or later, they're trying to become, the digital marketing agency for your practice. So if somebody else is, down the street with the same company, are they getting pitched those same services? Are you getting better, worse treatment than the other person that they have as a client. So, you've probably heard me talk a little bit about this, where I really think that once you get to a certain level of practice that you should own your website, because I think it's such an important asset for your online presence. When you're first we have a client that is just starting out that's using one of these companies. And, I think that that's an okay choice when you're just starting out and, cash is limited. And so you don't have as big of an outlay to be able to own the site or build the site from scratch. So you start off with a couple $100 a month to professionalize your online presence. And I think that's fine. But you've heard me talk about how I think that it's important for you to own it. And when you own that, you're not susceptible to them taking on more and more clients, because when their mission as a company is to get as many chiropractors, there's only so many chiropractors, or only so many cities, and there's only so many chiropractors in each one of those cities. So if their mission is to, get thousands of websites, eventually you're going to start running out of places that you can put websites that you don't already have somebody in. So I think that it is important for you to know, whether that is something that you can expect, whether that's something that you can negotiate, whether, do I have exclusivity to this area? And if the answer is no, then you got to make that decision. But a lot of people, I don't think, realize that they're actively, this one company that I know for a fact in my town, they have someone as a client, and they actively, they mail me things, trying to promote or trying to get me to become a client of theirs when they already have a client, in my city. And so you just want to make sure that you're aware of it. If that's the deal, if they are upfront about that and they say, listen, there is no exclusivity, we're going to take whoever is willing to give us the most amount of money, then you've got to take that into account when you are deciding on these companies. But you may want to do, a kind of a quick search through the, if you're using one of the, big 4 or 5 companies that market to chiropractors, you'll easily be able to. Most of those companies are able to make it into the top 20 or 30 offices in your area. So if you just look through, maybe the top 30 websites in your town or city, you'll be able to see, does someone have the same company that I'm using? And if they do, then and you can always make your decision based off of that. But we're very upfront about that, because I think that's an important thing when you're doing marketing a website is for new patients. A website is to attract people that are looking for a chiropractor or looking for specific conditions. And it's a zero-sum game. Those people are gonna, if somebody types in chiropractor near me or chiropractor city state, they're gonna choose somebody or another. Nobody has 2 chiropractors when they're doing that search. So so you are in competition. Now, when you're going out into the world with content and you're educating people, now you're starting to get into that 90% that don't already see a chiropractor. But when somebody is doing a search, your website is really built to show up when someone is doing a search. And if you're competing for that 10% of the population that has a chiropractic problem, wants to see a chiropractor, and your company is actively competing against your website company is actively competing against you, I think that's a problem. So keep that in mind as you're deciding, even if you have a website now and you're thinking, yeah, that's, not right, as you're deciding what you may want to evolve into, make sure that you're talking to people about that as you start to make those decisions. So hopefully this helped kind of get you thinking about all of these things, because a lot of times we just don't pay that much attention to what other people are doing. But I think in this case, it's important. So hopefully that helps, and we'll talk to you on the next one.